Well, good evening to those four people that listen. This is my digital diary, but I tell you what, I've got some universe galactic shattering theory here going on, and I think it's the only rational, logical explanation for any of this going on. And I kid you not, I think I'm going to write a book. I think that I might as well. Rupert Sheldrake did with his morphic resonance theory. I mean, goodness gracious, Mark Peskin over there has got his own natural law thing going on. And look at George. I mean, tonight's esoteric history. Last night, Jimmy Church was on there talking about, all the goings on of the government. You had got, I mean, last night's was just off the hook. Hi, my name's Randy, by the way, aka Jedi 1 to some. But this is just the only thing that I can. Let's take a walk here first. Tonight we got esoteric history, the Navy SEALs. And of course, some know why. I'll watch that a little bit or listen to that just to see what kind of light. That's too is unreal. The things that these they're SEALs. I mean, there's sea, air, and land. By the way, if you didn't know, that stands for sea, air, and land. Is what that stands for. But they changed. I'll guarantee you they've changed. Things weren't like that for that group. 42 and a half years ago. I can assure you of that. It was not. It was not. Whoa. What in the world are people thinking about? And that's exactly what I'm talking about right there. What are people thinking about? The only rational way that I can bring reason into a complete world of chaos. And let's just look at here what's going on. Obama goes over there and he's already publicly humiliated or publicly made snide remarks about the Russian president Putin, and when he was real cocky and had all of it going on for him, or that's what his walking orders were. I think they're flipping the whole thing myself. I think that's what they're thinking about. Is if you hadn't noticed, NATO is not strong at all. And the big leader of NATO, let's just see where his seating arrangement was there at the meeting in Beijing. Here's Putin, this celebrity or what have you, the featured person, most recognized, standing next to the Chinese leader. They have Barack Insane Obama over in the wives section. An American president, for the first time in my lifetime, is not standing next to the host leader, but yet standing with the girls. That blows my mind. All that I can reason that they are thinking is that this is the public acknowledgement and show that NATO is completely, excuse me just one moment, is completely falling apart. Hold on just one moment, please. Picking back up here, I just had to take a call. This is the first time in my lifetime that I've seen anything like this. And the only thing I can deduce from this is that NATO is falling apart. This is the BRICS nations, and even Australia and Canada are aligning with the thinking of the BRICS. Let's see where we're at. Does that look strange to you? It looks strange to me. It's shocking to me. Well, it's really not shocking. Everybody's been thinking about this, haven't they? They've been thinking that he's sideways and off and what have you. Look here. What have you been thinking about it? Grasp how powerful your thoughts are, and that'll be a first step. I think we can get closer to making this thing a happy journey rather than, my God, what's next? Let's just see what's going on in Drudge. Oh my God. If you don't think every single thought is a creative action, take a look at this droid standing on that block of bricks balancing out. It's coming, people. It is coming. Let's see what else we got down here. Oh, we got tasing going on. No telling what we got. What is this? New York, whatever that page one Tuesday. Hacker Guccifer pulled off rampage through. Oh God. Oh, I heard that there's some sort of American sniper. I think that's going to be about Chris. No telling what they're going to do with him. He was painted, people. He was painted. There he is again. There's the lad right there. Oh, here's Putin. Got him looking real official looking. What we got? What we got? And all that could be a ploy. Let me tell you something else I have been thinking that they may be thinking about. I don't know if you're following it or not, but net neutrality. Net neutrality is where they're trying to tax the internet. You with me? They slipped around here back in the, I guess it's the 30s, 40s, and what have you. Well, 40s. And went over there and created petrodollar. Behind everybody didn't know what they were doing. Got with all the what was needed the most in the world at the time, and still is, by some, petro, and they pegged it to the US dollar. Net neutrality is trying to tax the internet. My question is, who's got the kill switch? Who's got the kill switch? Whoever's got that kill switch could be holding the next petrodollar. If you held the internet at ransom, at bay, or in control of the internet completely, you think petrodollar. Think about that a little bit. You better not cut up over here. They got eyes on him, don't they? Yeah, won't you give that a little thought? But think good thoughts about that net neutrality dollar. Is that I don't think negative stuff about it for whatever you do. Just start thinking that that's not going to happen. That will never work. That won't fit. It's what you need to think about it, and that's what we need to all start doing in numbers. That's what happens. Let me get back to my little theory. Oh, by the way, I'm putting solar on rooftops, only on certain rooftops. I'm off into that deal quite a bit. Kevin and I, or a good friend of mine, Kevin. Y'all might know Kevin. Here's what's on my mind. This is the only thing I can think. Way back when we have to have a duo here to get this thing kicked off, because there has to be an opinion, and someone has to side with that opinion or not. There'll be conflict. When there's two, you can have constant fight and battle. And I'm talking about by thought. If you're thinking something and you're seeking to further that and have someone agree with you or share your thought, and someone does voluntarily agree with you, which is the way power comes from, true real power, not greed power. But when someone harmonizes with you, you started a thread. That thread could be about anything. How to make your toenails get harder. It doesn't make any difference what it is. If someone harmonizes with you, and then a third, and what have you, when you get to that third, however, now you're starting to form something, because the two could have been really whacked out, and the first original two, but it started with one. That was the exciter thought. That was the origin, sovereign thought. Went to the second one. Now you have three. That third one was the tiebreaker. That meant you had some legs underneath your thought. Now that thought continues, and it exponentially grows. Before you know it, how to make your toenails get harder has become fact, and is a known. That's what makes your toenails get harder across the entire globe. Period. Say it long enough, it becomes fact. That started with one single individual. Biblically, and probably all these other books that were all a creation of someone's thoughts, they all had to start with one individual. And you're going to say, oh, it was all inspired by many. Yeah, it was. But someone got them kicked off of thinking that way. And whoever that original was, you can say Adam, you can say whatever, it doesn't make any difference. There was some entity, upright Homo sapien sapien here on the blue planet that got that ball rolling. And we're all basing our entire, or there are many basing their entire religious and spiritual beliefs on a elementary game, a whisper in someone's ear, 10 people in a circle, come back to you game. From that original thought of whatever religion it is that you may be off into. There is no other way that it could be, period. Oh, you can say that that someone had a revelation, and that's true. They could. I'm not in any way saying that could not happen, but it was about that particular theme that was started way back when. And if you had an original that was an amplifier of that, or bringing it more in line to what the original was, then that thread that you just started it proliferates and it will become the norm and fact. It doesn't make any difference. Wherever there's harmony of thought, there's power. We've all heard it say, in the twinkling of an eye, things can change. With the faith of a mustard seed, you can move a mountain. All these things. And where two or more gathered, so shall I be. The things that I've done, you can do these and greater. The power is within. Every single thought is a creative action. Where attention goes, energy flows, and that's the seed of manifestation. How else could it be? So who holds the key? You do. Not me. You do. And if you and I are on similar wavelength, so to speak, and others are on similar wavelength, and others continue to draw to that particular thread or wavelength, it can move mountains. And when there is enough people or beings that have joined that thread with passion and action, there is nothing that can stop it. You know, I always talk about every thought being a creative action. Have great thoughts, have a great day. Create the world from thought. Everything is being created from sheer thought. Those are words, but until you experience it. And I realized last night, as I'm having these huge challenges out in California, giving birth to a concept that I have, it happens to be in the solar industry, being remote and not there, and counting on others, and trying to keep my original thread of thought that I envisioned clearly being massively successful, and seeing how others, when they come into harmony with you and fragment from your original thought process, you have to take note. And you either have to yield from your original, which is dangerous to, well, it's crucial, it's lethal to do that, because you start doubt. When doubt comes in, you might as well go fishing. So I'm going through a learning curve of looking, observing, analyzing, discerning, as the ebbs and flows of everyday life come into alignment with or running parallel with my original theme of thought in this marketing concept that I'm doing and other people's ideas. I have to be very open-minded. However, if I yield, then I will never know if I should have held the course. And each and every one of us are faced with that daily. When you deviate from your original thought that started the thread, you're into human thought then. If you truly feel it was an inspired thought, you're now, what's happening to you is what happens to everybody. You compromise. And the sheer fact of compromising means that you give up a degree of the sovereignty. That's not a terrible thing if in fact the deviation that it may appear to be a deviation actually was a realignment. And so it is a tricky path that we travel. And I look forward to tomorrow to see what tomorrow brings in all areas. But I do believe in my heart of all hearts, as we've said so many times, is that we have the ability inside of each and every one of us at any one given moment, space, and time to literally change our lives. It's all by choice. It may not be spontaneous, and it most likely will not be. But if you believe that the change has taken place and you do not doubt it, it is literally a matter of what we call time before you experience it here on this journey. If you never doubt. Never doubt. Even if you take that on with you to the next realm. Never doubt. Harmonize, stay in the river. You may bump, you may nudge others, which may cause the entire river to bend and ebb and what have you. But as long as you stay on track and you have the prize in sight, I believe that you're doing just fine. You know, I was talking about natural law. I don't know if y'all listen to Mark much. Mark Pesco, he's talking on Truth Frequency right now. Let me just let you listen to this.
It smuggles in collectivity, because the next thing they'll then tell you is that that's future. Oh, well, it's not in your lifetime. Sorry about that. Forgot to mention the small print. But in several other scientists. So you end up being nothing but a leg on a centipede. You end up being a domino in a long line of dominoes. You end up being a baton passer. Somebody gives it to you, you pass it on. So this all to negate your individualism. And see, Nietzsche wouldn't have anything to do with that. Nietzsche was all about the will to power, which has, of course, been massively misinterpreted. But this man was a champion of nature. But you have to understand, when you're dealing with Nietzsche, is that he was unable to, you see, almost all that he said about nature and almost all he said about his philosophy was almost like the magazine editorial. So even though you see a lot of books by Nietzsche, he hadn't even got down, he hadn't even been able to sort of, these were just the kind of, how would you say it? The basics, the bullet points. He hadn't even really extrapolated. And the reason why he said why he couldn't is because, of course, he was wanting you to enter into a world in which you are actually using the will to power, not talking about it. So he was the kind of person who realized that all the talk in the world is still not the philosophy. It's still not Nietzsche's philosophy. He wanted you to grab hold of what he was talking about, and for a couple of 100 years actually work with it, like stepping completely out of the moral, confines and cages that we've been trapped in. And then once you work with that will to power, it will lead you to a place where the philosophy is. So he held back on even commenting what it was. He was mostly a deconstructionist who was just trying to tell you to get.
He's interesting. No telling what that was he's talking about, but it's called natural law. But Mark Pesco, whatintheworldishappening.com. Have yourself a great evening, and remember, everything in life starts with a single thought. Have great thoughts and you will have a great life. If you do not think that you can change the past, I beg to differ. Start right this very second, and if you have to look at it this way, act as if you are that person that you want to be this time next week. Do everything that that person that you want to be in your mind's eye would be doing a week from today if you had your druthers. Do it. Continue doing it tomorrow and the next day until 1 week from today you stop and you turn and you look and you see if you have not changed the past. God bless you. God bless this wonderful country, America. The principles this country is founded on, this country will rise again and its people based on those principles. God bless the blue planet. Go out tomorrow, smile at a stranger to make you feel real good. Jedi 1, we damn.